Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Atypical Security Guard. I am heading to the gun store, one of my favorite activities to do on a day off. And while I'm heading over, I'm going to answer a subscriber question. This person reached out to me and they said they said I recently started working for a security company named Securitas. And they said, I've been working for them for about 2.5 months. We've already gone through 3 different supervisors, and we've probably lost 5 or 6 people that are, working at the same location. Is that normal? Is the high turnover normal? And the first thing that popped into my head was that meme of James Franco where he's standing and he's got the noose around his neck and he's like, first time, right? So clearly, shout out to this young man. Like, you're new to the security industry, because yes, this is normal. Not just normal for Securitas, not just normal for Allied Versal. This is unfortunately normal for the security guard industry. So since you're new and you're asking this question, let me give you a couple reasons why that is. Why do security companies have a large turnover of employees? Well, a couple of different reasons. Number one, the larger companies like Allied Universal and Securitas, they have created a system where they basically have a monopoly on a lot of security industry work. So, retail security, parking garages, whatever you would deem to be like your low-level security type jobs, Allied Universal and Securitas have pretty much taken over all of those jobs and squeezed out any of the smaller personal companies, mom and pop companies. And when you have a monopoly where these larger companies don't have a lot of competition, generally the product and the performance of service goes down. It's no different than, why is there a large amount of turnover at a McDonald's? Why is there a large amount of turnover, at a Taco Bell? It's because these are very large franchises that have a lot of financial backing. They have the market pretty much covered, and there's not a lot of competition. So unfortunately, that's kind of where we are with these companies. A lot of people that end up working in these environments, they're not people that are setting out to do security. I talk about this a lot on my channel, how most people don't make the decision or have like a life's aspiration to be a security guard. You end up a security guard. A lot of people that are working these lower level positions, these lower level contracts, these lower level sites, and that's no disrespect to anybody that finds himself working in that environment, but there's not a lot of education that's needed. There's not a lot of training that's needed. There's definitely not a lot of education and training that's provided. So you end up with people that are just like in between jobs, people that need some sort of employment, people that are just trying to pass time and get a check. So ultimately, on both sides of the equation, whether it's from the company side or whether it's from the officer side, you end up with 2 competing sides that really are just given the bare minimum. And when people are given the bare minimum, they don't feel the need to maintain that position. If they want to call out, they're going to call out. If they want to drop this job at the drop of a hat and take another job, they're going to do it. It's not seen as a career. It's not seen as respectable work. So a lot of people that you're working with as co-workers or as colleagues, they just don't see this as a viable opportunity for them career-wise. They don't see a lot of future in it. And so it's just not something that they take seriously. So you are going to see a very high turnover at this level of private security. Now, does that mean that you should have that same outlook? I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I feel like you're asking this question because that doesn't jive with you. You're not looking at people leaving the job quickly, the fact that you've had 3 supervisors in 2.5 months. The fact that you're asking this question doesn't seem like you're that kind of person. I've said this many times on this channel. There are viable options for you to make private security a career. You can make good money working in private security. You can do just about anything and everything in the private security industry if you find the right environment, you find the right employer, you find the right situation. It all comes down to what you want to do. And the fact that you're asking these questions leads me to believe that you are a decent person, you do have a decent work ethic, and that you might want to get something out of this. I think that working for Securitas or working for Allied Universal to get your feet in the door, to decide if this is something that you want to do, I don't see anything wrong with that. But if you're not happy with what's happening, you don't agree with the way that this is being run, you don't agree with the consistent turnover, my advice would be to find another company. You can find mom and pop, individual companies, small businesses that are doing security in a lot of different facets where you will get much more out of it than what you're getting working for Securitas. Now, more than likely, if you're working for Securitas, you're probably getting minimum wage, if that. Like, you will probably find that working for these companies gives you an opportunity to actually make more money as well. I got a ambulance coming up behind me here. Hang on one second. Let's see if people get over. Okay. Yeah, I think that you can find a lot of really good opportunities. And one thing about working for small businesses, individual sole proprietorships, is that generally the people that run those companies, the people that own those companies, they care. They care because, you know, their mortgage is riding on the success of that business. Their reputation is riding on the success of that business. So definitely, if this is something that you're wanting to do, seek out some of these smaller companies, sole proprietorships, individually owned mom and pop companies, and work for them. You'll probably find that you'll be a lot more happy with the situation. Now, that being said, you have to also understand that high turnover is just part of private security. You're going to see turnover no matter what. Man, I can tell you firsthand experience, companies that pay upwards of $40 to $45 an hour, and they still cannot keep officers. At the end of the day, a lot of what drives people out of private security, it's not the pay. A lot of what drives people out of security is not necessarily what we're doing. A lot of it is what we're not doing. It is very, very difficult for a lot of people who work in the private security industry to be okay with the fact that our job entails not doing a lot of things. What do I mean by that? Not doing loss prevention if you're working at a retail establishment, not investigating crime, not solving problems, not engaging people, things that are generally associated with the activities of working in law enforcement. You don't have the authority to do that as a security guard. And then a lot of times you're placed in these environments where you're seeing those things happen right in front of you. It goes against logic to see crime happening in front of you, to see shoplifting, theft, vandalism, violence, burglary, any of those things. It goes against the human nature to see that and literally stand there and not do anything. And in a lot of situations when you're working in private security, that's the mandate. The mandate is that your job is simply to observe and report. What did you see? Let somebody know. Let the police, let the manager, let the supervisor, let the company know. That is very, very difficult for a vast majority of people. And that, to me, is what leads to a lot of the turnover in private security. And that's not just something that you're going to deal with at Securitas, not something that you're just going to deal with at Allied Universal. You're going to see this at companies that are paying in the upwards of $35 to $45 an hour. It's not how much money they offer you. It's not the benefits. It's not the schedule. It's none of that. What pushes people out of private security is the fact that we do not have authority and that we cannot enforce. That is what pushes most men, I'll say most men, out of working in the private security sector, and you're going to see that no matter where you go. All right. See if we got any comments here before I get off of the stream. Somebody says, you look like my sergeant major. Good looking guy. Tell him I said, what's up? All right. Okay. So that's my thoughts on that. Hey, listen, stick with it, dude. You seem like a good guy. You seem like your head is screwed on tight, that you're thinking about the right things. And it seems like you might want to stick with this. We need good security guards. We need good security officers out there. Find a place that works better for you than where you currently are. Or, hey man, if you're losing supervisors, if you're losing people in management positions and you have the grit to stick it out and be a legitimate leader, maybe you volunteer for that. Maybe you continue to put in the time and the hours and the days until you're able to take over and be a difference maker, man. If you're not happy with what you're seeing, maybe you can lead and be the change. All right, that's another option as well. All right, guys, y'all take care, be safe, watch your back, and as always, messed up my outro. You guys take care, be safe, watch your back, and as always, be great. All right, be great.